Welcome to episode 11 of the WrestleCord podcast. You're here with your hosts, Cordial and Ryan. It is April 13th, 2026, just a little bit after 9 p.m. here on the East Coast. So, Ryan, how was your weekend?
It was a great weekend, full of wrestling, all kinds of wrestling action. A lot of fun, and we're heading into WrestleMania weekend coming up here, so there's going to be so much going on, so much to talk about. Such an exciting time for every wrestling fan here. I'm excited. Are you excited?
I am excited.
You better be. You better not say the opposite. This is going to be a weird podcast. So let's jump right into the news. So I said during our last podcast that we were going to talk about UFC. We're going to talk about UFC 327 a bit today. We're going to talk about some wrestling news. And, of course, we're going to talk about the pay-per-view just last night.
Woo! So good.
Yeah, I think the best pay-per-view of the year for AEW. I think it eclipses Revolution so much. It's so sad because the work rate of everybody at Revolution was insane.
It was.
People are murdering each other just to make a good show. And, yeah, this was such an incredibly better show. So let's talk about a little bit of news. Some sad news. Mayu Iwatani of Marigold, formerly part of Stardom, has been in AEW. Obviously, the reference here is injured. It seems she has broken her big toe in two places. The amount of time she's going to be out of action is not been verified. And the important part is she is Marigold Superfly champion, and she's also the GHC of Noah's women's champion. So we're not sure how long she's going to be out and what that's going to mean for the status of those two championships. A very unfortunate turn of events for her. Also, we had TNA Rebellion this past weekend. We had some returns. EC3 returning to the company, at least momentarily. He was just most prominently featured on NWA and showing up here on TNA. We had also Mike Santana, the world champion, retaining his title against Eddie Edwards, and Mustafa Ali taking the international title from Trey Miguel. We had Leon Slater winning the X Division title from Cedric Alexander. We also had, in really prominent news, the Hardy Boys, who had been carrying the TNA tag team titles for 265 days, just dropped it to these Systems, Bear Bronson and Brian Myers. We also had NXT's, WWE's Ariana Grace retaining the NXT title over Lei Ying Lee. We also had Frankie Kazarian defeating Elijah, another former member of NXT and WWE. We had the Elegance brand in six-man action beating Mickie James, ODB, and Taryn Terrell. We had Moose going over Special Agent Zero. Nick Nemeth, formerly Dolph Ziggler, most of you might know, beating AJ Francis. Somebody else who has been part of the NXT and WWE brand. So, crazy, big pay-per-view for them. I certainly have mixed feelings about TNA, especially considering what they have done to a lot of the Mania week card. A lot been talked about here. We talked about this a bit on our last podcast. MJF certainly very outspoken about this matter. No, let's just move on. We will talk about a little bit of injury news coming out of Dynasty. We'll do that as we talk about Dynasty later on in this podcast. A weird little thing going on that New Japan did. So during their BEMA 10th anniversary show, they sponsored a legit grappling contest featuring Aaron Wolf taking on 6 challengers, with the prize being 10 million yen. Now, it seems like the prize was only for the challengers. I'm not sure that Aaron Wolf was actually gifted this 10 million yen.
Okay.
But I thought that was a pretty odd way to go.
Yeah. Very
Very harkening back to sort of Inoki days, trying to add some legitimate contests, which only further illegitimizes the kayfabe element.
So I want
the
to test your
promotion.
knowledge here. How much is 10 million yen in US dollars? Do you know?
I have no fucking idea.
Yeah, I don't either.
So that was a fun little segment for everyone involved. So
I'll have to look it up.
also we have speaking of TNA, as we just did a minute ago, we have ODB, Old Dirty Bitch. Yeah, I said it.
Okay.
Being inducted into the TNA Hall of Fame this October. I thought this was very interesting. They just brought her back recently. I don't know if announcing this is sort of like a reason to try to keep her to stay. Sort of a little dangling carrot there. Because it seems that TNA is not the best in pay. And they certainly are getting a lot of flack recently regarding what they did to a lot of their up-and-coming talents in regards to these independent bookings.
Yeah.
So, back to some AEW news, though. We have AEW announcing their summer blockbuster events. It's 2-night events. This is going to be a Wednesday and a Thursday event. We're going to do Wednesday, June 10th into Thursday, 11th. So, Dynamite and Collision. It's going to come from the Andrew J. Brady Music Center in Cincinnati.
Okay.
No matches announced for this really early on here,
No.
but early access ticket sales are going to take place tomorrow night. So if you're in the Cincinnati area and you're interested in this, I would head over to AEWWrestling.com and check that out.
So while we're in the middle of news, 10 million yen is converted to, this is current rates, 62,818 US dollars.
That's not
That's
a small prize to take
No,
home.
it's not.
Yeah.
That's pretty decent.
And it did not happen for anyone, by the way.
Oh.
Aaron Wolf was able to put everyone down.
Oh, nice.
Yes.
Okay. Were you surprised by that?
Well, not necessarily. I mean, he's an Olympic judokan.
Okay.
So, I thought it was interesting, though, because, like, halfway through the contest, the rules sort of changed.
Oh.
It started out with, you had to, it was one fall and a submission, but it seemed like it discounted limb holds,
Oh.
and then that changed later on.
Okay, that's interesting.
Honestly, I don't know. I did not witness any of this event. So, yeah, we're doing a great job here. A little quick note here with AEW. I thought it was interesting. Cope did an interview recently, Adam Copeland, and talks about how him and Jericho were in AEW, both very big parts of the Attitude Era and also the Ruthless Aggression Era, if you want to call it that. I was ruthlessly aggressing against the booking at this point in time in my fandom. So, Cope said he doesn't see himself really crossing paths with Jericho too much in AEW. He spoke about him and Christian now tagging together and how many tag teams are a really good mix for them. So he seems like he's going to be very busy with that and not going to have a lot of time for Jericho. He didn't seem opposed to it.
Yeah.
I thought it was sort of I thought it was sort of an interesting thing for him to bring up, though.
Yeah.
And I did not hear the whole interview, so maybe there's a little more context here. But.
Okay. And just for those of you who don't know, if I'm speaking correctly, Christian Cage and Adam Copeland were a tag team in WWE,
Yes.
correct? Okay.
Yes, it was Edge and Christian.
Okay.
Yep.
Oh, right, because he went by Edge in WWE, my bad.
There you go. Also, real quick, some MMA news. And we're going to go over MMA. As I said earlier at the top of the podcast, we're going to go do a quick overview of UFC 327 from Miami on this past Saturday. But John Jones retiring. Announcing once again he's retiring.
Do you want to say one more time?
Yeah, no, I don't. I don't want to talk about John Jones, quite frankly. This guy is, I think he's a shitty human being.
Okay.
So, I'm going to see my unbiasedness shown through as a pundit
That's
here.
the beauty of our podcast.
But,
we don't have to be unbiased.
We don't have to be anything, quite frankly.
Exactly.
Nobody's listening anyway.
We got some listeners.
Well,
And thank you to those who are listening.
yeah, we love your support, whoever you
Absolutely.
are. We're so sad that your lives are so disappointing. You have to sit here with us.
No.
So he's John Jones is working as an ambassador for IBA, who does like bare knuckle boxing. He spoke with the Red Corner MMA, said that my gloves are up. he's sort of retired and he's sort of sticking to his ambassador role. I don't know. I don't take it. I don't believe John Jones for any word he has to say.
So you think he's not going to actually retire and he'll come back?
I don't know. I hope he does. I hope he retires and we never have to hear from him again.
Okay.
So quite frankly, my opinion.
All right.
So, all right. And yes, all right. So let's talk a little more UFC. So we're going to talk UFC 327. It happened just this past Saturday, April 11th from Miami. We're not going to talk about any of the prelims or any of that. We're going to go straight into the main card. I will say in the first 45 minutes of this event, we had one bout.
Jeez.
Which, yeah, I know. It shows a lot why there's a lot of wrestling fans that are very bored by UFC events.
Huh.
We had Cub Swanson versus Nate Landwehr. This is a nice little type out. We had a funky looking straight drops Landwehr in the first round. And then he gets taken down with another shot. So Swanson keeping hard on his game here. And in the end, in the first round, it was a quick night for Swanson. He would put Landwehr down with a hard right. This is very weird looking too, because Landwehr really was reaching for the sky here, trying to stay up. Reaches for the ref, and doesn't quite go all the way down, but the ref calls it. Nonetheless, he definitely got rocked so hard. I think that was probably a knockout, and so we have it. Cub Swanson ending his career here. He would leave his gloves in the ring. We get a nice little video package, and there seems to be the bells tolling for the career of Cub Swanson here.
Okay.
From there we go to a light heavyweight bout with Dominique Reyes versus Johnny Walker. I don't know what was going on. Early on, DC Daniel Cormier on commentary was talking about shepherd's pie. I'm not quite sure why. In the first round, Reyes was really the more of the aggressor, but there's a lot of feeling out going on in general. This is a very slow-paced bout. Walker, in the end, Reyes was very more aggressive in the first round, definitely pushing forward, but it was Walker had the better strike percentage. And not a lot happens in the first round. In the second round, we had Reyes leaning more on the leg kicks, trying to switch up his game here. This is where we started getting the crowd turning on the event. You know, a lot of this is boring chants. And it's super even round here. It was really hard to call. I mean, I would say Reyes definitely took the first round. But it was, I don't know, it was very neck and neck in the second round. And then in the third round, started out hot and heavy. Reyes thrown a lot of high kicks, which his corner suggested during the break between the rounds. But still just a lot of feeling out. Neither man was really pressuring the other. Reyes would start moving to some low kicks, trying to sort of break down the body of Walker. But it's really too late in the bout to try to start doing things like that. In the end, it would be Reyes winning a split decision. This is really a bad fight. Really low strike percentage. And just nothing really entertaining. The crowd was turning on it the whole time.
Okay.
So, from there we would move into the heavyweight division. So we would get the by far, unquestionably, the best fight of the night. One of the best, I'd say right now, the best fight of the year. Best fight probably of the last 5 years. We had Josh Hawkett versus Curtis Blades. Curtis Blades, such a veteran to the sport of MMA and UFC. And oh my God, was this a bar burner. It started off and Hawkett just ran right out. He crossed the middle plane of the ring and went right over pretty much into Curtis Blades' corner. Just starts standing there and throwing lefts and rights, leaving us out there just standing right in front of Blades and taking all kinds of strikes, but refusing to diverge from that stance. And just Blades was really getting rocked so fast. It looked like it was going to end within the first minute of the bout. But Curtis Blades did hold out. He got bloody super quick. Ends up getting 2 takedowns in that first opening round. Hoke had started looking gassed here. As like I said, he came out and just started throwing lefts and rights. So it wasn't surprising here, especially for the heavyweight division. Hoke starts trying to control the wrist at one point here as Blaze is starting to try to get more of a grappling stance here and starting trying to throw punches in the clinch. We would get the end of the round here. In the second round, we get a lot of hard punching immediately to the clinch. A lot of hard punching. Hoke going out, of course, really fast on the beginning of this round too, just like he did in the first. This guy was determined. So I really feel like the crowd sentiment in that previous bout got to these two guys, especially Hoke, where he was not going to allow the crowd to start chanting that boring.
Well, and let me just ask a quick question because I don't really know as much about MMA, so I'm
Sure.
assuming maybe some of our listeners may not either. So whenever they come out that way and they're just like really just throwing punches left and right, is that normal for bouts, or do they try to
it's
like?
not necessarily normal. You know, most guys don't just start diving into action. They seem to do more feeling out. Just like you would see in a lot of wrestling matches where they start circling each other, you do the collar elbow tie-ups, just sort of trying to feel their opponent.
Because I feel like whenever they come out like that...
especially in this bout, this was crazy. How quickly Hoke just charged right into battle, like literally ran all the way across the ring to meet Blades before he had a chance to even try to make it to the center of the octagon.
So I'm assuming, do you think that affected his stamina?
Oh, I'm sure it did.
Okay.
I mean, he would, like I said, he was gassed pretty quick, which just makes sense considering the work rate that he was going for there. But nonetheless, getting gassed in the second round here was still serving an absolute beating. He was just refusing to take it slow. He was refusing to be scared of Curtis Blades. He was just pressure. Okay. And this did, at certain points, start to work in the advantage of Curtis Blades as he was able to counter well. But in the end, it just wouldn't be enough. Hook had rocking Blades a whole ton in the third. And there was plenty of back and forth. Don't deny it. It wasn't like Blades was just sitting there being a punching bag. But in the end, it was Hoke getting the unanimous decision win. And such an unbelievably great fight. I suggest anyone who is a fan of any combat sport, please go check this out. This was so fun. Definitely a great look for the heavyweight division that has been known to be very slow and pondering. So, up next we get a light heavyweight fight, our sort of co-main event here with Paulo Costa versus Azamat Murzakamov. And I'm sure I'm butchering that. I would just say his Azamat name for the rest of us so I don't have to keep butchering it. And then I look a little bit better here. This was a very uneventful first round. A lot of feeling out here. Not a lot of strikes thrown. Not a lot of strikes connected. In the second round, it'd be Azamat pushing the pace, but ending up suffering for and getting a lot of counter strikes. He would end up getting knocked down with a right. Costa would start mounting him, firing in a bunch of shots, doing a bit of ground and pound. Azamat would end up making it back to his feet. He later on he would end up getting a nice throw, a good takedown for him in the bout in that round. And we would end up going to a third round here. And it would be a lot of Costa teeing off on the head kicks on Azamat. And in the end, it was that head kick that would put Azamat down. Azamat would get basically hit with a head kick, and it was mostly like shin. And he actually would stay up on his feet and lean into the ref, but end up falling down. And practically by the time he fell down and hit the mat, the ref had already called it. I think a very smart stoppage here. There's no way he was going to be able to defend himself.
Right.
If Costa had a chance to keep pounding on him and wasn't relenting. So there you go. You got Costa winning with a referee stoppage in the third round here. And now we get to our main event for the light heavyweight title. Carlos Oberg versus Jiri Prochazka. And I'm sure I'm butchering that again. Y'all can
These
bite
names,
me.
man.
I'm
Ooh.
sorry. I'm
You
trying
do-
here, folks. I'm
You're doing a
trying.
good job. You do a
I don't
much
think
better-
I am,
You do a
but
much
you don't
better
know
job
any
than I
better,
do.
so it sounds great.
Well, you do better than I do.
And oh my God, this was such a long, drawn out, hard fought main event.
Really?
No, it wasn't at all. This is what wrestling has always made fun of with boxing and now MMA, where you pay all this money and you get a 5-second main event. This lasted almost no time. It was crazy here too, because Oberg would end up stepping back during a strike, and you could see, as they would show in the replay, the muscle in his calf just rippling.
Oh, it was so creepy looking.
Yeah,
I
it
actually
was
got to watch this
horrible.
a little bit.
Looked like he had a bit of a ferret in his leg there. And unbelievably, the ref didn't see this, and so he was allowed to continue, and he would end up hitting a quick left. And I mean, Yuri was really calling for Ulberg, I'm saying all kinds of names, to stand and fight here, saying stay in the center of the ring. And this would end up costing him, because that's exactly what he did. Yuri, being the aggressor here, would catch it with an errant left hand for the knockout in the first round. And Carlos Ulberg becoming your new light heavyweight champion. Really a fun show. I really enjoyed it. I mean, you didn't watch it, so there's not a lot you can speak on this. No. But let's jump from UFC and get into the meat of our broadcast here. AEW, Dynasty. Our tried and true. We had Dynasty, the big pay-per-view this Sunday, just last night. Yes. Matter of fact, that's when Sunday was, right?
So yes, it was. So do you want to talk about your feelings on the show? Do you want to go over it first and then talk about your feelings about the show?
Yeah.
Yeah. Which one? I asked 2 questions.
I know. I thought it was the best pay-per-view of the year. Probably the best show of the year. It was absolutely excellent.
I agree.
Very well paced. A nice reprieve from the chaos we saw at Revolution.
Yeah.
So,
all right.
We had a lot going on in our 0 hour,
which is that hour before the
our pre-show.
It's the
pre-show on free on YouTube.
Yep.
So we had Alex Linder. Going into it, we would have Alex Linder versus Maria Shafir. We'd have Jungle Jack Perry defending his national title against Mark Davis. We would also have the women's tag team titles be defended with the Divine Dominion taking on Hein and Maya World. So we started off real quick with Alex Windsor and Maria Shafir. This is a nice little hard-fought bout. It didn't last too long. I think it was under 8 minutes. And in the end, it would be Alex Windsor with her pump handle. Here it is, driver, for the win. From here, we go to the back with Willow Nightingale, our TBS champion, who wasn't scheduled for this card. She would start talking about her upcoming challengers, who should be in line for the title. And boom, we get her being forearm thrown into the wall, getting tossed around here by none other than Camille. And I was actually a little lost here for a second. I was like, I recognize face. With Camille changing her hair color to red, I was a bit lost. Of course, Camille coming from NWA, spending less than a cup of coffee in AEW before she disappeared.
She was out for, I think they said 500 and
some
days.
Over 500 days.
Yeah, it's a really long time.
And so we get her back, and then her attacking Willow, she would end up prancing off. And we would really quickly be told that we're going to get Camille in action, which I was pretty shocked about. So, and from there, we would get Camille in action. So we get Camille facing local talent in Big Ann. And this is what you would expect for an enhancement match. Camilla throwing in around a whole bunch. She would end up doing a rack attack to get the win. I guess that's what she's using as her finisher now.
Okay.
From here, we'd have Willow Nightingale running out to the ring trying to exact some revenge. And it would not go too well for her.
No,
She
it
would
did not.
pretty
Her
much
outfit was super cute, though. I loved it.
very important.
It
She
is to
would.
me.
Well, we should have talked about that during a promo.
We should
That's when we
have.
first saw it.
Yeah.
I did not like her outfit very much, but
Really?
yeah. No,
No, it was super cute.
I don't
It's totally
like
something
that
I would
sort of
wear.
vest pant
Oh,
thing.
I would wear it.
I don't love it. I don't like it on women. I don't like it on men. It doesn't work for me. She would get beaten down immediately in it, looking like we're setting up Camille and Willow for the TBS title.
All right. That'll be an interesting match.
I think it would be. So from here we go for our AEW National title bout. Our champion Jungle Jack Perry taking on Don Callis family member Mark Davis. Mark would start by throwing Jack around a lot, really exerting his weight advantage here.
Mm-hmm.
Jack would try to chop down the tree here, going after the legs of Mark. It wouldn't work too well. He'd end up spilling outside. Perry would jump from the ring to the outside, and Mark Davis would catch him and just pretty much destroy him from there. Davis really takes over here with a running forearm face wash in the corner. Jack would end up battling back at one point, hitting a slice spread number 2. He tries to go for a big pile driver on Davis. He can't quite get him up. They would end up spilling out to the apron where Davis hits a Falcon Arrow on the apron. This was brutal. So he would, I guess he was going for a Falcon Arrow, but he would toss Jack forward, and Jack would land pretty much rib first on the apron, which was absolutely not just the apron either, the edge of the apron.
Oh, that sounds so painful.
It was a pretty wild scene. From here, Davis would repeatedly try to go for his pile driver finish, that deadlift pile driver, and fail each time. Perry would end up getting a pile driver of his own on Davis. Davis would from here fight back. Perry ends up hitting a Hurricane Rana into a cradle for the 1-2-3.
Dang.
Yeah, a very unusual ending to this match here. A bit of a surprise. I do love that, though. I love to see these quick roll-ups. I love to really tease that is a significant part of wrestling, and that any roll-up could actually be the end of the match. And I think AEW really tries to push that narrative forward, and I love it. From here, we get a video package for what would end up being our opening bout of the show, which would be Okada and Takeshita versus Young Bucks. But then staying with our 0-hour show, we would have the women's tag team titles up for grabs. Divine Dominion versus Hyde in My World. The Divine Dominion would take control for most of the match, especially early on. They would end up isolating High-End. A lot of big boots, a lot of big suplexes. The norm for the Divine Dominion. Megan would end up beating on Hine a whole bunch in the corner. A lot of quick tags between the Divine Dominion women. At one point, Hine would start to clear the ring here. She would get the hot tag to Maya. Maya would come in and start tearing the house down, just taking the women of the Divine Dominion to task. She would end up stacking the champions even in the corner and start throwing, running like forearms. Megan would, the champions would battle back here. Megan would get a fall away, / Samoan, drop slam combo on both women, High and Empire World. The champs would go for the double choke slam, which would get reversed by My World into a very sloppy looking DDT. That whole sequence did not work very well. Time was way off. Maya would get the girls outside and end up hitting outside moonsault. It looked beautiful, especially for a girl that's a bit thicker, carrying the weight. Really knew how to throw it around here tonight.
Nice.
But in the end, none of it was enough. With the Divine Dominion getting that double choke slam on High-End for the win. Very fun, very violent match. I absolutely loved that. I thought it was great pacing.
I thought it was a
fun way to lead us into
Absolutely.
the opening of the show. And there we go to the opening of the show.
And I just want to say really quick, I think High and Maya did a really good job during the bout. We haven't really seen much of them yet. And I think they really held their own during this. So, I mean, it obviously wasn't enough to overthrow the champions, but I think they did a great job.
I think it was a very structured bout that
Yeah.
gave them a lot of shine and made them look good.
Yep.
And as very viable contenders for the titles in the future.
Mm-hmm.
So,
all right, so we move on to our...
Yeah, we get Pyro and our opening of our show here. So that is official AEW Dynasty.
Yes.
We are here April
12th?
11th. It was definitely the 11th.
It was yesterday, the 12th, hon.
Oh, it was the 12th. It was definitely not the 11th, folks. It was the 12th.
And our opening match is between Okada and Takeshita versus the Young Bucks. So we have...
and of course, going into this, a lot of conflict.
Oh, yes.
Between Konosuke and Okada.
Yes.
Don Callis really dangling the carrot there for Konosuke for a chance at Okada's international title.
Yes.
Basically saying, if you work together,
right.
If you play ball here, you
You'll
could see a shot at the title in the future.
Yep. So we start off with Okada taunting Matt on the apron. We have the Bucks doing some double clotheslines and taking Takeshita over the rope to the outside. That looked really crazy. And honestly, Takeshita is such a big dude. Like, he's so tall. So to watch him go over the ropes, I think always looks really crazy.
It's impressive.
Yeah. So we have Okada coming in and bouncing Nick's face into Matt's butt.
Yeah, so they did that thing where one of the Young Bucks sort of does that. I don't know how to even describe it exactly. So he does like a sort of upside down spider hole with his legs sort of splayed open over the top rope, and then the other Young Buck, Nick, does a dive, throw his legs over the top. But it did not work out this time, as Okada would lift Nick up and drop him face first
right into
Matt's crotch.
And then Okada turned around and just started laughing hysterically afterwards, like a middle school boy. It was hilarious.
It was pretty funny. There was a lot of little funny DDT style sort of comedy here.
To be honest, I actually have noticed a lot with Okada that he does some of these like comical spots throughout his matches.
Yeah.
So then we get Takeshita.
Very less serious, and sorry to cut you off. Less serious in AEW than he was during his New Japan run.
Yeah. So at the next point, we have Takeshita holding Okada's face. No, who am I? Oh, Nick. Sorry, Nick. I can't read my own stuff. We have Takeshita holding Nick, and Callis actually comes over and breaks his eyes.
We're on the outside, and Takeshi's battling with Nick here. We'd put him in like sort of a headlock, and Callis would come over and break Nick's eyes.
Yeah.
So getting involved as you would expect from the slimy snake that is Don Callis.
Yep. And then Okada's on the outside, and he walks over to, I think it looks like it was just the side of the ring. And he actually takes the Bucks headband and ring jacket and puts them both on, and then sits there and does their pose, which was so funny.
Yeah.
There was lots of great synchronized tag team action in this bout.
I do expect super fast pace.
Absolutely.
I mean, there was a point here where Takeshita and Okada would slow it down a bit. Of course, the Young Bucks trying to really work a faster pace, but they would get slowed down a bit here.
Yes. We have Okada and Takeshita going to the Bucks, doing a sunset to a double German suplex. That looked really awesome.
Yeah, so I believe it was... Let me try to let me go through the memory bank here, folks. It was Matt being held by Okada, and then Nick grabbing Okada, and then Takeshita diving over. Is that what it was?
I think so. Oh yeah.
Doing
and Takeshita grabs
sunset, and grabbing onto Nick Matt, who's ever at the end of this train here.
Yes.
And causing a double German to the other folks involved.
Honestly, I've never seen anything like that. I thought that looked really cool.
No, it was a fun little spot.
Yeah.
There's a lot of these. I mean, this was a fun little bout. It was certainly not necessarily in the vein of what I love in professional wrestling, but it was fun. Nothing for me to scoff at.
Yeah. So we go from there. We have Takeshita and Okada in the ring, and they're actually just pounding on each other. So this is where we see some of that tension.
Okay, well, let's pull it back here. We get a face-to-face with Okada and Takeshita here, and we start getting the shoving. just like we had previously seen on Dynamite. And then we start getting the forearms.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just a strike fest between these two members of the Don Callis family, just as you would expect, not getting along here as a tag team. And you can keep going.
Oh,
I know you have really good notes.
No, that's okay. During this whole exchange, thank you, between Takeshita and Okada, we have a fan that's like right behind. You can see right between the both of them. That is holding up a sign.
Right before they started pushing each other.
Yeah, they were like face to face with each other, and this fan holds up a sign that says "Kiss," which we'll actually see several times during the night. But it was pretty fun.
It was pretty entertaining.
Yeah,
I think we saw it in our main events as well with MJF and Omega.
So a little bit later, we have the Young Bucks back.
And they're both boys.
They're both boys.
So, fun stuff.
Yes. So a little while later, we have the Young Bucks back in the ring, and Okada and Takeshita. And so we had this fun little spot where Nick actually shoved Okada into Takeshita, causing him to headbutt Okada. So then after this happens, Takeshita tries a V-trigger, but Nick ends up ducking and hits Okada instead. So it was like these two little spots where they're taking out their opponent.
Well, and it would go further too, because at one point Okada would go for the Rainmaker and end up hitting Takeshita with the Rainmaker by accident. And so from there, there'd be a little bit back and forth, and eventually the Young Bucks would get control. They would set Okada up for the Meltzer driver, and Takeshita would step in real quick.
Yeah.
To hold on.
I think it was Matt, right?
I believe it's Nick that is on the apron.
Oh, okay.
Hold on to Nick's foot.
Because Okada at this point is in a
Meltzer driver.
In a Meltzer driver. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay.
Sorry, I was thinking it was a different move. All right. No, you're good.
So he's got him set up for the Meltzer driver. Takeshita would stop. I don't want to say it's Nick.
Okay.
I'm scrolling this up here.
So, and that's part of the problem. I can't tell them apart. It's really hard for me to tell them apart. I probably have a bunch of these wrong.
As Nick's hair has really darkened over the years, and now he's grown out the full facial hair too. Because usually they didn't have any facial hair, but Matt would often have the mutton chops, and he had the lot darker hair. Okay. So it's a lot easier to differentiate the two Young Bucks apart.
Yeah.
And now, even after I've been watching these guys for like 17 years now, I'm starting to get confused. Okay. 17, God, I've been watching them for way longer than that. Now that I think about it, that's a scary moment. It's been at least 20 years. It's starting to get them. I believe it's Nick that's on the outside to do the sort of
the flip over the rope?
450, the forward flip into the spike.
Okay.
He would get caught. Takeshita would grab his foot and prevent him from doing the Meltzer driver, but then Takeshita would have a change of heart here.
Yeah.
And he would let go of his foot, hold his hands up, and step back and let them spike Okada in the middle of the ring.
I was not expecting that at all. And that was crazy.
That would lead to the 1, 2, 3. We have the Don Callis family going down at the hands of the Young Bucks, and boy, was Don not happy.
No. So he comes into the ring, which I thought was hilarious, because as he comes into the ring, we notice that he is actually wearing a pink armband on his arm in honor of Kyle Fletcher being injured.
Yeah. So a little like as if Kyle Fletcher just died or something.
Right.
Just because he's injured now and had to give up his TNT title is very, very in line. Of course, Don Callis, such a veteran of the ring. He knows
what he's doing.
How to get the heat here. Yeah.
All
and
right.
From here, we get the big return to the AEW ring of
Chris Jericho. Yes, versus Ricochet.
Do you want to do your impression of his theme music?
His theme music? No.
Oh, come on.
No, I don't.
You have such a great voice.
No,
folks,
not
she has
today.
such a beautiful voice. It's
well, thank you. I'll do Ricochet.
Your face is turning so red now.
I'm sure. I can do Ricochet's. I don't even know what you call that. His little call, I guess. Where he goes,
do his little laugh.
Yeah, he goes ha ha.
That's pretty good.
Yeah,
we'll take it. We'll take it. We're not getting Judas in your mind tonight, folks. So we'll take that.
I have to learn it a little.
I'll dig it out of her next time.
So this starts off. There is so much posturing at the beginning of this. Not much action at all. It's just them going around the ring, feeling each other out.
Jericho seemed to be taking his time, really.
Yeah, he really did.
And which really makes sense with the story, with how long he spent away from the ring.
It's been a year.
Over a year.
Yeah.
It's been over 350 days. We were at his last bout,
one,
which was against Bandito for the Ring of Honor title in Philadelphia. That we were there live.
It was
at
Dynasty last year. Yeah.
And so I think he was definitely playing up that character aspect of it, where he's a little unsure of himself in the ring here after so much time lost, especially with such a talented competitor like Ricochet.
Yeah,
so,
that makes sense. So we get Jericho starting off with some chops to Ricochet, and oh my God, these chops are so hard that it actually put Ricochet on his knees.
It was like he was making up for all the chops that he had missed for 365 days.
And to be honest with you, now, again, I'm a newer fan, for those of you that don't know. So I don't think I've honestly ever seen somebody chop so hard.
Almost half a decade in, by the way.
No, it's been 4 years.
Yeah, it's almost half a decate. That's what half a decade is.
Oh, I guess. But I don't think I've honestly ever seen somebody chop another opponent so hard that they go to their knees. Usually they stand there. I mean, obviously they'll bend over. They'll be like, "Oh my God," and rear back on the rope or whatever. But you never actually see them go to their knees.
He cowered.
Yeah, he really did. So, so we'll get some more back and forth.
Yep.
Ricochet. So at this point, they're out on the apron. Ricochet does this Death Valley driver to Jericho that is just absolutely insane. I actually didn't even know that it was a Death Valley driver. I had no idea what it was. Ryan actually had to tell me that. But as Jericho goes down, he looks weird. Like, it looks like he hits the edge of the apron on his, I think it was his left shoulder.
Yeah.
And as he spills out into the outside, you see him holding his shoulder and flexing his hand. Like, he looked like he was really hurt. It'd be a terrible way for
him to make his return.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So then we'll get Jericho back in the ring. We've got Ricochet putting Jericho on the middle rope and actually choking him. I think if I remember correctly, he had like his knee on the back of his head choking him. And then
at one point he would wrap Jericho's arm around the ring rope and start pulling on it.
Yes, and Ricochet, honestly, throughout this whole first part of this match, really was dominating offensively. He looked really good.
Poised here against a veteran like Jericho. Now, I mean, Ricochet himself is now a veteran, obviously not the 30 years that Jericho's had in the ring.
Right.
But I really thought he looked great against a grizzled veteran.
Yes.
He looked poised. He looked like a world beater. He really looked, that's a great way to put it. He looked very confident. Looked very like he belonged in the ring with Jericho.
So after this little spot where Jericho is in the middle rope, Jericho puts his arm out to the outside of the ring, which...
Yeah, through the ropes to the outside.
We're just sitting there because
he starts wiggling his fingers.
Yeah, and we're like, what is he doing? Like, is he asking somebody
he's asking somebody to hand him a kendo stick?
Yeah,
or something.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
So weird.
It was so weird. And here it was, Leona was supposed to come over and pull on Jericho's arm, and it was just really, really bad.
Yeah, so he was calling for essentially the spot.
Yes.
So Toa Leo, obviously part of Ricochet's posse here.
Yes.
Was set up to do a spot here where he pulls on Jericho's arm.
Yes.
But his timing was bad, and so Jericho leans out his arm, being the professional he is, and starts wiggling his fingers, calling for Toa to grab his arm and do the spot.
Yes.
And it was so obvious and looked so bad.
Terrible.
It looked so bad.
It was so bad.
So much so that we have no idea what's going on. We're sitting there going, what is he doing?
Happening?
Is he calling for something? What's he asking for?
Yep.
Oh, and then we see Toa grab his arm. We're like, okay. Not so good.
That was so bad. Yeah. So we have Jericho back in the ring. He is going to counter with a code breaker to Ricochet's face, which looks really wicked.
Well, actually, there's a bit more for this. Yeah, okay. So they would do a lot of back and forth, and Ricochet would actually hold pretty hard, taking control of Jericho here. There would be a bit more GOA interference, and then at one point, Ricochet would head up to the top and go for a shooting star press, which Jericho would counter with the code breaker. Okay. Which the professionalism involved here. God, Ricochet is such a talent. The body control this guy has.
It's amazing.
Because this seems like an almost impossible task to not knock yourself out. And yeah, he did it so perfectly. And they actually slowed it in slow-mo. And it still looked good in slow-mo. Where he lands down on his knees and then takes that knee to the side of his face of the Codebreaker. Such a great little spot there.
So then we have Jericho doing the Walls of Jericho in the middle of the ring. And at this point, we actually have Bishop Khan coming in and distracting Aubrey, which allows Toa to pull Ricochet to the ropes for the break. And then Ricochet does oh, go ahead.
Yeah, no, Jericho would capitalize on this real quick. He would have to let go of the Walls of Jericho, but then would follow up with a baseball slide, shoving Rick and into Toa and out of the ring, and then Jericho would do a big dive off the top rope.
Okay. So then at that point, Ricochet goes back up onto the ropes to do a shooting star press and then tried to do a pin for a 2 count, but he doesn't get it. And then he does the spirit gun. Toa says, no.
Yeah, he looks like he's going to go for the cover. He hits the spirit gun on Jericho. It looks like he's going to go for the cover. And the GOI, Toa especially, at least as we saw from our camera angle, and I imagine Bishop as well, are basically screaming at Ricochet, no, don't pin him. No. And they're pointing up, and it's very unclear as what they're saying. It seems like maybe they're calling for him to go back up to the top rope, maybe they're shooting star press. But instead, Ricochet would run rope, and then rope to hit the lion salt on Chris Jericho. Go for the cover. Of course, we're going to get Chris Jericho kicking out here. Oh, but we're not. Because Ricochet, with the lion salt, gets the 1, 2, 3 on the grizzled veteran, Chris Jericho. This was a wild ending.
It really was.
Super shocked. I'm sitting there watching him go, there's no way he's not going to kick out of this. But sure enough, he did not kick out. So, and I think this is honestly a great move by Chris Jericho.
I agree.
I think it's a great move in favor of Ricochet, who is such talent. I really don't even understand why this guy isn't in the main event card, other than he can't stop running his goddamn mouth.
Right.
In very serious ways. If you have MS, he's not your fan. So this
Moving
was
on.
it was such a fun bout. And up next we have
El Idolo versus Darby Allin. So we start off with them in the ring, and we have Darby Allin doing a coffin drop on El Idolo while he's posing with one of his thoughts on the outside, and then shoves him into the guardrail. It was absolutely insane looking. Honestly, I thought Darby was done at that point. This was a wild match, which is not surprising when it comes to Darby Allin. I mean, pretty much any bout that he is in, it's going to be crazy. I do have to say, though, that I very much appreciated that Darby stayed in the ring more than he typically does. Usually he is just all over the place. And I'm not saying that he wasn't, all over the place a little bit, but not quite as much as he normally does, which I very much enjoyed. And I think Ryan did as well. So after all of this happens, then we have Darby and Andrade in the crowd, and they are on the concrete steps. And Darby does this insane drop kick to Andrade on the stairs. He lands right on his back. He knocks Andrade down the stairs. It was insane. I mean, we all know that Darby does some crazy stuff. And to be frank with you, I thought that when Darby hit the stairs, he broke his back and or severed his spine, because, oh my gosh, he hit so hard. And you will actually see later in the bout that he has a massive mark on his back. Like, I really don't know how he didn't injure himself more. So then we get back into the ring, and we have Andrade at this point. He is doing the Three Amigos, and the Three Amigos, the last one that he did, actually put Darby into the turnbuckle. So then we have Andrade doing a Samoa drop where Darby actually counters with a crossface.
Yeah, so they were actually on top rope here. Okay. So Andrade would carry Darby up to the top rope and go for a very top rope too. Tippy top, Andrade's feet on the top ropes. Go for a Samoan drop, and Darby would counter that, flipping Andrade all the way around, and then laying him on the mat into a crossface.
Yes. So then a little later, we have Andrade suplexing Darby over the top rope to the outside, and holy shit, they both looked hurt. Darby hit like a sack of potatoes. Like you
Yeah.
literally heard it ring out when
Yeah.
he hit. It was
It
insane.
was like a wet tail being slammed onto the floor.
Absolutely. So then we have them back in the ring. Andrade hits Darby in the corner and then tries for a pin, but only gets the 2 count. And at this point, we have Andrade removing his pants like he likes to do. But we don't have Don Callis on commentary at this point, which, we talked about this before, where anytime Andrade takes his pants off, Don Callis gets the vapors.
Don Callis almost passes out. Yeah, you can't.
But we
can't
didn't have
handle
that
it.
today.
It's too much Andrade for.
Yes, but we didn't have that today.
Yeah.
So, but I thought it was really funny because as Andrade's taking his pants off, Aubrey, who is the ref for this match, actually turns and covers her eyes and then turns away.
She did not want to see the
She
display.
did not. It was funny. So then we have Darby.
I mean, I heard she goes both ways, just not any ways that I guess involve Andrade.
I guess not.
No.
So then we get Darby doing a coffin drop and getting a 2 count. During this, he actually grabs Aubrey. So
yeah, well, when he goes to kick out, what he does is he sort of throws his arm up in front of Aubrey's arms as it comes down for the 3.
Yeah.
And sort of cuts her off. And Aubrey really scolds him for that, too.
Yes, she does. Which is
Not
good.
taking that.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
no, I think that's a good thing.
No, I think Aubrey's usually a pretty good ref. Not my favorite ref. I think if we were going to categorize the refs between best and
Best to
least
least.
best, honestly, one of the youngest refs is my favorite ref,
Bryce
which
Remsburg?
is I love Bryce, but it's actually Stefan Smith.
Oh, okay. Stefan's
I mean,
good.
he's the guy who seems to be always on point, always calling the countouts,
Yep.
always just very, I don't know, ref-like, very
Yeah, he does a good
officiant
job.
of all the matches.
Yeah. So then we have as we go on here, we have Darby doing what looks like an inverted figure 4, but he pulls Andrade's legs like over his head into a cover and gets the 1, 2, 3 pin, which they call the Last Supper.
Yep.
So that's an interesting name.
A really quick win there at the end for Darby, which did you? I'm sorry, because I actually I had to go to the lavatory, folks. So I'm not gonna lie, I had to dip out here in the middle of this. Did you talk about his big drop kick from the top rope into the chair?
No, I forgot that.
Oh, yeah. At one point here, he would set Andrade up, sitting him into a chair at ringside, a folding chair, and then Darby would dive off the top rope with a missile drop kick into the chair. Just a wild match. I'm sure you talked about the drop kick over the arena steps.
Oh, yeah.
Which is absolutely wild out in the crowd.
Yep.
Oh, my God.
Crazy.
And he spent so much of the match just looking completely dead after that.
Yeah.
I mean, there was also the suplex, a vertical suplex from the apron to the outside that left Andrade pretty much. I'm sorry, that left Darby in fetal position.
Yes,
that was horrific.
Yes.
So what a wild match, and I mean, it was of course a lot of chaos as I just described some of it.
Oh yeah.
But
which is to be expected.
In line with Ellen's matches, this was more subdued and more in-ring work, which I really liked it. I think he really did look good in the ring.
Yeah.
I really wish he would lean on that just a little bit more. I know, and I think I talked about this just in our last podcast, that Darby has said in interviews that people don't show up to watch a Darby Allin match to see him wrestle in the ring, but I think they also do.
I do. I think
and
so.
I think he should,
it.
if he gives a shit about whatever's going to happen to his future, which I don't think he does. I'm completely convinced that Darby Allin's philosophy on life is to push every boundary he fucking can and die early.
That's really sad.
I mean, it's a thing.
Yeah.
Life's like, there's a lot of perspectives of life you could talk about here.
Yeah.
I don't think any of us really necessarily romanticize the idea of getting really old and feeble.
Yeah.
So, maybe he's got the right lean on it.
Maybe.
I don't know. It's crazy.
Know.
It's not my lean on it. It's not one of my plan scenes to be in. I mean, God, I almost hope at this point he does kill himself, because this guy is going to have a terrible old age with what he does to himself. That sounds horrible. I think he should kill himself.
Sound very nice.
I wish he would just stop doing it, is what I wish.
Yeah.
But I mean, if he's going to continue to do this, then I kind of do hope that he doesn't have to suffer the consequences as an old man. Because, I mean, at least death is quick and you don't know what's happening after.
Yeah.
Well, at least that's how I feel about it. Some of you might have other faiths.
So, after that philosophy...
I know. This is a fun little segment here.
So, at the very end of the match, I really enjoyed the fact that Andrade got up and he put his hand out for the handshake, and Darby obliged. And this is one of my favorite things about wrestling.
I wish you could have watched 20 years ago Ring of Honor. You would have died.
Probably.
Because this was the whole thing.
Yeah,
this was
I love the show of respect. I think it's
show
great.
of honor.
Yes, I think it's fantastic. So, all right. So moving on.
Yeah, we would get our next
bout.
That was our first title bout of the actual show here, which is going to be for the AEW World Tag Team Championship.
Yep.
So we're going to get our champions, FTR, Dax Harwood, Cash Wheeler, with Stoke, of course, taking on former, I think they said 7-time world champions.
I think so, yeah.
Not of the AEW variety.
No.
Obviously, but Adam Copeland, formerly known as Edge, and Christian Cage, formerly known as Christian minus Cage.
Yep. So we actually are going to start this bout out with
Distinction.
Cash spitting in Cope's face right at the start. So
Classy.
gross. Oh, it's so gross. I wish they would stop all the spitting.
Well, I mean, he's certainly, and we would see this a bit in our later match here with Will Ospreay and Jon Moxley, where Cope is very angry at what they did to him at last year's Dynasty, when they teamed in that triple threat, and FTR did not win, and so then they decided to take their anger out on Cope, and then later on in that year, they would, I believe it was at All Out, they would beat up Adam Copeland's wife, Beth Phoenix, former wrestler herself.
While he was, if I remember correctly, he was handcuffed to the ropes.
Yes, he was.
So he couldn't help.
So you could see that animosity there with how this match begins, having zero respect for FTR and spitting their face. But really quick, this would pretty much be all 4 men in the ring.
Yep.
Almost immediately throwing forearms at each other. I think it was Christian and Cash that spilled to the outside, and it was Dax and Cope still in the ring.
Yes, I believe so. Yes, FTR actually catapulted Cope's neck into the bottom rope. That looked really vicious. We have Cope doing a superplex to Dax. And then we have Cash being thrown into the pile there was a pin going on in the middle. I believe it was...
Well, I think you're jumping a little bit ahead here.
Am I?
So, yeah, there would be some, like you said, some tag team trickery here. But so it would end up breaking back down into the legal men in the ring. And Cope and Cage definitely have the advantage here, but FTR would swing it in their favor by doing some tag team trickery, like you said, Court, with that dropping Cope's neck over the top ropes or slingshotting him there. And FTR would really start to slow it down here, start working Cope over, rear naked chokes and just sort of what everyone calls those rest moves. But we get some back and forth here. At one point, Edge would end up getting the Edge-O-Matic. I forget what he called this exactly. His sort of inverted sharpshooter, where he puts a knee in the back of his opponent as he applies it. And that would get him a little bit of ways, but eventually the FTR would get to the ropes. We would get Cope and Cage attempting a power and glory. Now, they would get the power, but not quite the glory, as some knees would come up. We would get a bunch of back and forth here, a bunch of battling in and out. And then at one point, Cope and Cage go for a shatter machine. At least it seemed like that's what they were supposed to be doing. It seems that Edge, Copeland, Adam, whatever you want to call him, it's a cutter, and it ends up turning into a 3D. I'm pretty positive he was supposed to throw his knees up, and this is supposed to be a shatter machine, and Cope just sort of forgot what he was doing here. So at one point, Dax would get the sharpshooter on Cope while Cash Wheeler tries to grab a hold of the AEW tag team titles. He would bring it into the ring with Christian right at ringside. Christian would reach in through the ropes, grab a hold of the strap, and there would be a tug of war here between Cash and Christian. And eventually, Cash would yank the belt out of Christian's hand, and in doing so, in one fell swoop, would swing the belt around and end up hitting Edge in the face. And there was actually a really beautiful shot here when they did it back in replay.
Yeah.
Where you could see as soon as he hits Edge in the face, Edge sort of does this big dramatic fall backwards, and right as he starts to fall backwards, you start to see the blood start to trickle open.
It was
the cut really open up on the head.
It was so fantastic.
Cope here, and Cope would end up the rest of his match being a bloody fucking mess.
Yes.
Like really a bloody mess here. He must have lost pints of blood.
Probably.
We get a bunch back and forth here, a lot going. Christian would end up grabbing a chair at ringside and trying to attack Wheeler with it, but Wheeler would counter and end up shoving Christian into the ring post outside, but not only just a ring post, because Christian has that chair in front of him, so he'd sort of hit the chair into the ring post. That would put Christian down for a moment. That was not enough for Cash. Cash would yank Christian up from the mat and throw him over that little sort of timekeeper's barrier, and he would end up there for the rest of this bout.
So I also want to
go
say,
ahead. I'm sorry.
Right before
They
that,
cut you
though...
off.
no, that's okay.
Well, cut me off. Yes.
Right before that, though, before we had that little spot, we actually had something interesting happen because there was a pin going on in the middle of the ring, and Cage actually took Stokely Hathaway, threw him into the ring to break up the pin on Cope. And Stokely then pushes Paul Turner. Paul Turner turns around and actually pushes Stokely out of the ring. Oh,
yeah. There was a bit of battling there.
Yes. And then we have Cope spearing Dax and then trying to get the pin, but would only get the 2 count. And then we have Cash actually pile driving Cope. So just a couple other things that happened.
Yeah, and then we'll jump back into... So I screwed this timeline up here,
That's
folks.
Okay.
So now we're back into... Christian gets shoved into the post. He gets turned to the outside. And this would just leave Cope at the mercy of FTR here. Mm-hmm. They would end up hitting the Shatter Machine, and they would they would try for a Shatter Machine early on. It didn't work, and then they would go for a double. They would go for the V trigger. I think you said that didn't work out, and then Cope would hit double spear on both men, and that was just not enough for him to capitalize, as he would end up being a victim of the Shatter Machine and the 1-2-3, with FTR retaining their AEW World Tag Team titles.
And Dax was the one that did the pinning on Cope.
Yeah.
So this was a really good match.
It was actually a really good match.
I honestly was pleasantly surprised, because I'll be honest with you, I love FTR. I have liked FTR since I started watching. Lately, I have not been overly happy with their matches. I feel like a lot of their matches have just been very meh. So I was very pleasantly surprised.
And I know you have very strong opinions about mine and yours father figure.
He's not my
Christian
father figure.
Cage. Don't you try to dismantle the patriarchy?
Well,
I will not hear of it.
Too.
So, and you certainly don't have that history with Edge and Christian, Cope and Christian, whatever you want to say, folks.
Yes.
As someone like me does, or a lot of wrestling fans out here that are probably listening to this podcast.
Yeah.
We have spent a lot of time with these guys, so we have a bit of a sentimental feeling. This was really a big chance for them to collect another title, and it did not work out.
It did not.
Honestly, I was a bit on the FTR side here. I think Christian, as much as I love Christian Cage and his whole patriarchy gimmick, which was, solid gold.
I was happy to see FTR win.
I think it was definitely serviced more to AEW as a company and the AEW Tag Team Championships to have FTR and keep the belts.
Yeah.
These guys are, like they say, living legends. I agree.
They really are.
So from here we would go backstage with Willow.
Miss Willow.
Obviously very upset with what happened with Camille early in the night. Upset with what happened with Camille after Camille's match when well, I guess thought she was gonna, beat her up, and that didn't work.
No.
That was kind of weird, by the way, because it's a very what's the word? It's a very cheap maneuver there to try to attack Camille after her match.
Yeah.
And I mean, you can argue that was a cheap maneuver, Camille attacking Will in the middle of an interview, but
yeah.
Willow's supposed to be better than Camille.
That's
true. She's supposed to be above that.
Yes.
And have her go after her after she has fought a match seemed pretty heelish.
Yeah.
And nonetheless, so Will is very upset. She said that she wants a piece of Camille, pretty much.
Yeah, and she also, because she's upset, she basically said to Camille, like, if you wanted a title shot, all you had to do was ask. So many of the other girls have asked, and I give it to them, and so that was pretty much. I guess
she asked in a non-verbal way.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Oh, yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some fist and Irish whips.
Yeah. So then we have actually a quick commentary change. We have Bryan Danielson coming out on commentary for...
heading into the booth.
Yep.
And this would lead into our TNT title bout. So for the vacant title...
Yes.
We have our Casino Gauntlet. We learned earlier in this week that it is going to be Ciampa and Rush starting this out.
Yep.
And now we had talked about in our last podcast, we weren't sure exactly what was happening here, why you would want to fight for number 1 and number 2 spot in the Gauntlet. And what I suspected might have been true was the case that this match can apparently end at any time. It is a one fall, it's not elimination style.
It is not. So we have the competitors entering at random intervals. And at this point, we don't even know.
Which is so weird. What does that mean? Random intervals.
I guess it just wasn't timed right. Because there were some that came out quicker than others, which I don't know. I don't really agree with that.
Who decided? How does this work? Do they have a random clock that tells you how long?
Good question.
What if the random clock... Was there a limit on the clock?
I don't know.
Could it be more than like an hour? What if there's an hour between intervals? I don't know. It was super weird.
Well, and at this point, too, we also don't even know who the other competitors are. We don't know how many competitors there are.
Nobody else announced but Rush and Ciampa.
Yeah, so it was weird. So basically, we have competitors entering at random intervals, and then it can end at any time with a pinfall or submission. Yes. So as we stated...
No top rope elimination, nothing like that.
So as we stated, we start out with Ciampa and Rush, and I just have to say, Ciampa had new tights tonight, and I really like them. I thought they looked nice. We start off with lots.
I actually thought it was funny how coordinated Rush and Ciampa's tights were. They looked like they were ready for a tag team match. Yeah.
We start out with a lot of heavy shots being exchanged. Yep. Not really that surprising. We obviously have
these guys heavy strikers.
Yes. We have a chop fest. They both were hitting really hard. Just all out, just chopping. We have Rush faking Ciampa out with the bull with the horns, and then turning around and doing his laying down pose in the middle of the ring that he does, just being his cocky self. Yeah. He loves to do that.
Tranquilo type of that Naito pose.
So then we get Ciampa getting Rush over into the corner, and he is just incessantly kicking him. Because at this point, Ciampa, to be honest, he looks pissed. He looks super mad. So he is
he always looks mad, doesn't
he? He does, but I mean, this was different. This was like the way he was doing. Yeah, the way he was doing these kicks was like he was just trying to beat the shit out of Rush. Yeah. So, all right. So we have competitor number 1 coming out, which is Bandito.
I think it was around the 3-4 minute mark.
To be honest, I don't know. I didn't do that.
It wasn't too long before we got our first competitor.
I didn't look at the times. Yep. So we have Mr. Bandito coming out. He does.
I believe that's your middle child's favorite.
It is. Yeah, he really likes Bandito. He has when we went to Dynasty, actually. Was Dynasty that we... Yeah. Dynasty. We made signs for out in the crowd, and he did Bandito.
It was Dynasty last year, Bandito winning the Ring of Honor World title.
Yeah, it was so awesome. Oh, he was so excited.
Yeah.
So, after Bandito comes out, we have... him flipping over the ropes into Ciampa on the outside.
He does tope con hilo.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, see, that's why I need you, because I don't know the names. And then we have Rush throwing Bandito really hard into the guardrail twice. They were very, very hard. I was surprised he actually was able to get back up. And then Rush brings him back into the ring and tries to unmask him. He sticks his fingers into the eye holes of Bandito's mask. And
pull it apart.
Yes, just tries to pull it off of Bandito, which obviously we all know is super rude. Not something that they enjoy having done. So at this point, after this happens, we now have Speedball enter, and Speedball Mike Bailey. He just comes in and literally clears house. He just knocks everyone over, which I thought was pretty cool. And then as him and Ciampa get into the ring, he has a set of like 3 kicks right on Ciampa. He tries for a pin, only gets the 2 count. And then we have El Clone coming in. So he is our, 4th competitor coming in?
Yep.
And then, so El Clone comes in. He takes out Roosh and Ciampa on his way into the ring.
No, El Clone would actually be our 5th competitor.
5th, you're right, yes.
So he would be the 3rd entering in the staggered
yes.
gauntlet.
I should have made a note
style.
of that.
So we have now, no, obviously nothing's happened yet because there are no eliminations.
Right.
So we have Ciampa, Bandito starting out. I'm sorry, Ciampa, Roosh starting out. Then we had Bandito coming in first. We had Speedball Mike Bailey, and now
El Clone.
El Clone.
Yep. So after he takes out Roosh and Ciampa on the way into the ring, he gets into the ring, and then we actually have Pac coming out. Pac comes out. He starts off really strong. He just comes out, starts clearing house.
Well, can I just say, before Pac ends up making his entrance, El Clone is looking amazing here. Doing all those crazy high-flying moves. This guy, being so young, he is so talented. His timing is amazing.
It really is. He does such a great job.
I don't know how he's not main eventing every show in Mexico.
I don't either.
This is the Lucha Libre style that they love down there. Just so fluid, so fast, so innovative.
Mm-hmm.
And he looked great. And end up making a good showing here before we would get the first member of the Death Riders, Pac, coming in.
Yep. Pac comes
back to his small trunks again.
Yes.
This guy can't decide what he wants to wear.
No. Although it does look like he's growing his hair back out though, which is nice.
It's so weird. I watched this guy forever wearing the exact same type of at least stylized attire with the same cut, being the short trunks and the knee pads and boots. And then he came back after cutting his hair off, and he had that like singlet with the pants.
But it almost looked like the singlet had like a pair of short trunks over top of it.
That's usually how they do.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's often the... Usually they wear like a singlet that sort of does that leotard thing where it wraps around your junk area.
Okay.
And then they put on a pair of long-legged trunks, and then they put on the small, tiny little trunks over top. Okay. Like Superman style.
All right. I did not know that. So, like I said, Pac enters. He starts off really strong, comes in, clears house. You know, we have several people spilling to the outside. So then Pac goes up onto the top turnbuckle and does a corkscrew moonsault onto the outside, literally taking everybody out.
I think they tried to call the Black Arrow. It didn't make any sense. It was not the Black Arrow.
No. And then at this point, we now have the second member of the Death Riders coming in with being
Daniel Garcia.
Daniel Garcia. Yep. I forgot. Oh, his name is right on the tip of my tongue. So Garcia and
well, if it's on the tip of your tongue, you got to push it off.
I know.
It's right there.
So we have Garcia entering. He gets into the ring with El Clone. And he and El Clone will do several of these like round robin roll ups. To be frank with you, I don't like them.
Yeah,
I think they look.
They're
really
just spinning around the ring.
Yeah, it looks really stupid because you know Bryce. I think Bryce was the ref for this one. Is sitting there trying to count, and it's just 1, 1, 1, 1, and it just looks stupid. And at one point, Bryce couldn't even count anymore. He was just like, "I'm done. I'm out." So after they do this,
like a rabbit on a hot coal.
Yes. Pac enters the ring, and then we get Pac and Garcia doing round robin elbows to El Clone in the corner.
Yep.
So, which we've
charging
seen before.
in, taking him out.
Yeah, trying to just take him out and really hit some hard.
And then we get our next entry pretty quickly with the Pride of Pro Wrestling, Anthony Bowens.
Yep, which is exciting. He does this crazy...
What is that?
Bowens?
No, what did you say it was? Exciting. All right.
Yeah, it's so exciting.
Go ahead.
Exciting. I don't know. Anyway, so we get Bowens in the ring. He does this crazy ass looking DDT on Pac.
It's like that rope hung sort of spinning DDT maneuver.
Yeah. So he tries to pin Pac, only gets to the 2 count, and because Ciampa actually comes up into the ring and breaks it up. So. And I think at this point, we actually have our competitors coming in a little quicker.
Yep.
So next we have
the intervals are definitely randomly smaller.
Yes. So next we have Kevin Knight coming in.
And the other half of the Jet Speed.
Yes.
So he's in there with his partner, Mike Bailey.
And he's the Jet. The Jet part
Is
of
he
Jet
the Jet?
Speed. Yes, because it's Speedball Mike
Yeah.
Bailey. Yep. So then we have him coming down
Well,
the
who's
ramp.
the speed part?
Speedball Mike Bailey.
Oh. Well, who's the... What, no, there's no ball involved anymore?
Yeah, it's just Speedball.
And where's the?
Oh, I don't know.
Where's the part? I don't know. I'm just scrolling
They did
around
an
here, folks.
amalgamation.
All right.
So we have Knight coming in, and as he is coming down the ramp, he is just literally taking out competitor after competitor after competitor. So we also at this point have the Death Riders and Jet Speed going after each other. We have Bowens doing a series of kicks to Garcia, and he tries to get the pin on Garcia with the 2 count, but we got Roosh coming in, breaking that up. And we get Bowens then in the corner. Roosh is trying to do the bullhorns.
He eats the bullhorns.
Yeah, he
Bowens
did.
eats the bullhorns in the corner.
That looks wicked.
And then we get our third member of the Death Riders coming out, Wheeler Yuta here.
Mr. Wheeler Yuta with his short hair.
And we get a superplex from Ciampa to Kevin Knight onto the outside, sort of catching all the people on the outside.
I was going to say, okay.
Yeah, there
okay.
was a nice crowd there to break that fall.
Yep. So then we have Garcia doing a Dragon Tamer on Speedball Mike Bailey.
Well, there was a point here. I'm not sure if it was actually before Wheeler entered, but there's a bit of a tease here of actually I think it was before the bullhorns on Owens.
Okay.
On Bowens, where it was a tease of Kevin Knight and Mike Bailey facing off against each other. They were on like opposite sides of the ring on the apron, and it looked like they were going to battle, but they didn't quite get that done as they were sort of interfered with there.
That's interesting.
So I was excited for that. I was
think that's going to be
really excited to see with these guys who know each other so well how that little battle would turn out.
Yeah.
But alas, we didn't get that. So like I said, we got a suplex on the outside from Ciampa to Kevin Knight, falling on everybody. We get the really quick back in the ring. Pac would hit the Black Arrow on Bailey and go for the pin. This would get broken up real quick by Daniel Garcia, who would apply the Dragon Tamer on Speedball. And Speedball almost gets to the ropes before he can. Kevin Knight comes flying in out of nowhere.
Garcia actually pulled him back to the center of the ring. Not allowing Speedball to grab the rope. And then we have Knight coming out of nowhere and doing the UFO splash onto Garcia and gets the 1, 2, 3 for the win. So we have a new
TNT champion, the first time ever.
Yep, for Mr. Kevin Knight.
And
so
I thought, what did you think of this whole thing?
I thought this was good. Honestly, other than the timing
It's one
of
of the
them
best
coming
gauntlet
in.
matches I've seen.
And I can't really speak on gauntlet matches because, to be frank with you, I think this is the first one I've ever seen. It's not.
Absolutely not.
Okay.
It's not even the first one you've done a podcast about.
Nuh-uh. Yeah. No, I've talked. Nuh-uh.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh. Well,
That's
okay.
not
then.
the first casino gauntlet you've seen. That's okay. Because they never do these things.
Yeah.
These things are always different.
It was a fun, good match, and honestly, the ending was awesome. So.
Yeah, I would actually. It was a good, fun match.
Yeah.
But
I said fun, good.
Yeah, I know. I'm just playing around here. So, what did you think of the finish here?
The finish, I thought it was great. Honestly, I thought for a moment that Speedball was going to Garcia was actually going to get it. Which, if I remember correctly, Garcia's been a TNT champion, correct? Yeah. So I actually thought he was going to get it, but Kevin Knight just coming out of nowhere with that UFO. I love the UFO splash anyway. I love that move. For him to just come out of nowhere though and just totally get it, I thought was great.
What do you think of them christening Kevin Knight as the new TNT champion? Guy's so young, less than a year.
Yeah, I love it.
Company,
honestly, I love that they're using some of these younger new talents to be like the faces of the company. So I really liked it.
Yeah.
And I think he's going to do a great job. He's doing a great job as a trios champion.
Well, he was.
Yes. So I think that this is just a stepping stone for him because honestly, I think he's eventually going to be a main eventer. He has that.
That's the word going around.
Yeah. Swerve called it.
Yeah. So we have coming up next a match I was super excited about. I know you were excited about.
Yes.
I know your kids were excited about.
Yes, especially my oldest.
Yeah, especially
She's Jamie
your
Hayter
girls.
2.0.
Yep. which was Tekla defending her AEW Women's Championship against the former champion herself, Jamie Hayter,
Yep.
who has not got a taste of that gold in
A
3
while.
years now.
Yeah, it's been a while.
So, my God, so Tekla coming out looks like a badass, looks like $1 million. This girl really, I feel like this is such a get for the AEW company. Tekla, who is so young, so early on in her career, this girl is as poised as ever. She looks like a star every time she gets in the ring. She absolutely understands exactly what it means to be a pro wrestler and what is expected of you to be a star.
Mm-hmm.
She's amazing. So I always say this every time we talk about her, but because I'm
But
always
it's
shocked
true.
when I watch her enter, and
Yeah.
it's just the poise and
Yeah.
the character and the strut and everything. This
Yeah.
girl looks
Well,
like
and
$1
then when she's
million
on the
bucks.
mic too, she just does such a great job. Like
Absolutely,
she's
knows
one
how
of
to talk.
honestly, she is one of the best on the mic, I think.
Yeah, she knows how to talk.
Yeah.
So this is a super fast start. A lot of throwing back and forth, really hard hitting.
Yeah.
At one point, Tekla was really just like trying to assert herself, throwing Jamie out of the ring and telling her to stay out of my ring. It's pretty fun.
Yeah. We got Jamie throwing punches. She got Tekla on the ground and she just starts throwing punches at Tekla.
Yeah, this is
And
early
to be honest, it looked terrible.
Yeah.
You could just see her hitting, she was just hitting her own
Yeah,
wrist.
Jamie was punching her
Yes,
own wrist here.
it
very
looked so
bad
bad.
job at disguising
Even
her
my
punches.
even my oldest, who is like doesn't know a ton about wrestling, she goes, "What is she doing? That looks
Yeah,
so bad."
Yeah.
It
You
was
can't even
terrible.
get the kids in. You're losing it.
Yeah. We got Jamie starting out really strong and dominating, which I thought was very interesting.
But like I said a minute ago, Tekla would take over pretty quick.
Yeah.
Start throwing Jamie around,
Yep.
throwing her out of the ring, screaming at her, stay out of my
Yep.
ring.
She does a huge crossbody to Jamie on the outside. Her form and elevation, honestly, is just
And she would go for like some cocky pins, just putting like the knee on the chest.
Yep.
Not really trying here. Really asserting herself as the queen of the women's division. So there would be an apron suplex to Tekla, which looked wild from Hayter. Hayter back in the ring, and we're jumping ahead here as this match would go on. It's such a great match, but I mean, honestly, folks, there was such great action, we can't really play by play this for you. Hayter would end up at one point hitting a vicious power bomb on Tekla. It looked like she was never going to get up.
Oh yeah, so it literally
Like a
folded her
car
in
wreck.
half.
Yeah. Oh, great analogy.
Yeah.
So
go ahead.
No. Oh, let's fight over it. You go ahead. No, I go ahead. You go ahead. Tekla would end up eating a tombstone from Jamie Hayter. But this was not enough to put Tekla down. They would end up fighting on the turnbuckle. Tekla would hit that beautiful spider suplex. She would then she would hit a double stomp to Hayter from the top rope. Hayter would fight back and then go for the Haterade. She'd miss it. Tekla would roll her up in a sort of bridging O'Connor roll.
It looked very spider-like.
Yeah, just real quick, she would grab a hold of that rope like she has done in the past, and we would get the ref 1, 2, and 3.
Yep.
That's it, folks. Yes.
Yep.
Tekla would pull in the victory here. And I know we didn't get very deep into the play-by-play here, but this is actually one of my absolute favorite matches of the show. This was so well paced.
It was.
So well executed. Other than that weird gaff with Hayter in the beginning of this match was such a good bout. These women are really just the future of this sport. And I implore anyone, I don't care if you're a WWE fan, I don't care if you're an AEW fan, I don't care if you're a New Japan fan, you really do yourself a favor and watch this match. It was very fun, very quick. Every move in this match had a purpose. Everything was nice and concise and fun. And just an awesome match here. So you have that. Tekla retaining her title using a bit of a cheap tactic.
Yes, she did. And afterwards, we have actually Alex Windsor came running down the ramp to tell Stefan.
Yeah,
that
Tekla rolls
cheated.
out of the ring.
Yeah.
Starts kind of heading up the ramp, and we have Alex Windsor heading out. Yep.
Yep, and letting Stefan know that Tekla cheated by holding the rope. And then we actually have the Triangle of Madness then coming out, which is Sky Blue and Julia Hart to support Tekla as she walks up the rest of the way of the ramp
sort
to the
of
back.
seconding her there. And I really was concerned here that they were going to do take back here. I thought, I thought they were.
I thought they were too.
Retroactive this finish,
but I'm glad they didn't,
and I'm really glad they did. And I think this is an important thing that was very pushed upon me as a child early on, before things changed later on as I watched wrestling. But this was always the thing that Gorilla Monsoon would always emphasize, the fact that referee's decision is final. Once the bell rings, the bell rings. It's over. You can't change it. And I really like that this ideal was reinforced here in this match.
Yep.
Like I said, a super fun match, a very screwy finish, but super fun.
Yeah.
And so from here we get our next title bout.
Yes. We have Jon Moxley versus Will Ospreay, which
returning
I was
Will
so
Ospreay.
excited. Oh my god, I love Will
Yes.
Ospreay.
This is for the Continental title,
Yes,
so
thank
20-minute time limit here.
Yep. I honestly love the way this started out. This started out immediately with Ospreay hitting a hidden blade.
Yeah, so much storytelling in this match, honestly. Obviously, Ospreay becoming a victim of the Death Riders, having his neck put in the chair and getting stomped on it, which, in storyline led to him getting this neck surgery.
Yep, and him being out.
And he has talked about previously in the weeks leading up to this has affected his family, his children, and so there's a lot of bad blood going into this. So, yeah, like you said, right out the gate, Will Ospreay.
Yep.
Hidden Blade. I think everyone was shocked by this.
The
crowd was floored immediately.
Yes. Well, and the thing that I really liked about it too is that after he did it, he didn't even try to cover Mox. He literally just stood there.
He stood there,
which I think told
happy with himself.
Yeah. Well, and I think it's really starting to tell that story that, like, I don't think that this isn't about Ospreay winning. This is about Ospreay getting revenge.
Yes.
So, Mox
this is that classic revenge story.
Yes.
And as we get to it, will that work out for Ospreay? I guess we'll see.
Yeah.
And
so we got Mox getting up and is immediately hit with another hidden blade.
Yes. And this would end up with Mox sort of getting hit by it and then rolling to the outside. Yes. So it's not even a chance really for Will Ospreay to capitalize here.
And this is where we actually see Mox bleeding from his mouth already.
Mox is already bleeding from the mouth. We're less than a minute into this spot, folks. Ospreay would go outside. He would battle Mox a bit on the outside, and then they would end up bringing it back in. Like I said, Ospreay really on the attack here, but not ever going for a pin here.
No, Ospreay just, I think at this point is just showing he's not fucking around. He's just going to beat the shit out of Mox.
And he's slow. He's taking his time here.
He is.
And he repeatedly points to his wrist like as if a watch, and screaming about how he's got 20 minutes.
Which was interesting because if you looked at his tape, it actually looked like there might have been a watch taped underneath it. There was like a bump.
It was like this big bulge. And I guess that was all just tape.
I don't know
how that's legal. But.
I don't know. So we got Mox coming back into the ring and tries to start attacking Will's neck. He does a sleeper on Ospreay. He doesn't get the full sleeper though. Ospreay is able to get out of it. We have Ospreay trying a Tiger Driver, but he can't complete it because at this point he had gone through some. He had a hurt arm. I think I missed a couple things.
Well, Mox has started working the neck and the shoulders area.
Okay.
So, Ospreay, having just got neck surgery here, his shoulders and arms are a bit in flux. They're not at 100% capacity, it would seem, in this bout. And him throwing, I guess I would even argue those big hidden blades.
Oh, yeah. That
definitely
makes sense.
put a toll on those arms.
Yeah.
So he's struggling a bit here. He kept holding his arm throughout the match. He kept holding his shoulder, especially like right up in that trap area.
Yeah.
And they where are we? He goes for a big tiger driver.
Yep.
Can't quite get it. And so we're not talking about like a tiger German or tiger suplex. We're talking about that big tiger driver 97.
Which is the one he said he would never do again after he heard other people.
But he did it after he already said he was going to do it.
I know.
Because he said he wasn't going to do it against, I think, Brian, and he did it.
Yeah, that's a really wicked looking move. It's scary. It literally makes me cringe every time I see it.
I think that is his intention.
Probably.
So
Guess he's doing his job.
he can't quite get it done. He can't quite get that done on Moxley. They would end up like dragging. At one point here, they would drag the stairs out. Moxley would pull the stair. Was it Moxley? I think it might have actually been Ospreay that would pull the stairs out from the side of the ring. He would turn them on their side, giving a bit of that platform. And Ospreay would then drag Moxley up on top of that and go again for the Tiger Driver, but Moxley is able to reverse it and hit, I believe it was a paradigm.
Driver?
You're right.
I think it was a pile driver.
It was a pile driver, which was wild.
Oh my gosh.
That,
he will look like
that
he
technique
really,
was amazing
really
to
hurt
try to
his
do
neck.
that maneuver like that.
Well, and like whenever he came down off the steps after the pile driver was done, like honestly, I really, really thought he hurt his neck, and medical actually came over to check on him because he looked like he was in so much pain.
Yeah.
And he honestly, I think this was the point where he looked like he was actually seizing. I literally was scared. I really was. That was just such an insane spot.
Well, I find it interesting this whole Ospreay is cleared to wrestle because clearly the way you determine whether a person is able to do a thing in a medical stance is you talk to them.
Yeah.
Unless you can see something clearly on an X-ray or an MRI, you don't know. All you can go best on is how they describe their pain. And I don't believe for a second here that Ospreay was ready to return to the ring. I don't think he wasn't feeling pain. I think he told everyone around him he was fine.
Well, that actually makes sense because he didn't even tell people initially that he was hurt. Yeah. He like made this huge apology about it. Yep. So that actually doesn't surprise me. So then we get Mox and Ospreay going back into the ring.
After this pile driver real quick though, Mox would head back into the ring and he would try to just end this on the countout. I mean, he's the champ.
Oh, yeah,
he doesn't need to beat Ospreay in the ring. So, and we would get to the 9. Ospreay would actually get up at 8 and then fall down and almost stay out for 9.
I didn't think he was going to make it.
But he would end up getting it back into the ring.
At the very last second.
Yeah, and I believe from there he would quickly catch the curb stomp.
Yes, yeah. As soon as he re-entered the ring, Mox curb stomped him and then did 2 paradigm shifts. Did another curb stomp to try to get the 2 count.
Well, he did 2. Oh, yeah.
He tried to get the count, but he only got 2. Sorry, I should have said it that way. He did another curb stomp and then only got the 2 count when he tried to pin.
But he was determined. So
He was. So we get actually Mox. We have him do the Death Rider on Ospreay and does the pin for the 1, 2, 3.
Well, so I think that's a pretty shocking ending.
It was. I was not expecting that. And I will say that as Ospreay left the ring, he clearly looked like he was crying. He had his hand up over his face, like over, just like right under his eyes. And he really did look like he was crying. Now, I don't know if he was crying because he was upset that he lost. I don't know if he was crying because he was in so much pain, or maybe it was a little bit of both. I don't know.
Maybe because he's about to get married to Alex Windsor in 2 months.
Aww.
Maybe he's having trouble dealing with that transition in his life.
Maybe. So then we move to the back with Darby and Renee. And they're talking about...
what is going on here? So we saw earlier in the night, too. This is so weird. And we didn't actually cover this. So we saw earlier in the night Alex Windsor and Jamie Hayter in an area where there was just some dark wood and a sign that said Rolling Birds, and it was to simulate a bar.
It looked like it was supposed to be like, a little makeshift bar.
Yeah, it was supposed to be a bar. And now we're here with Renee and Darby, and it looks like they're in an abandoned warehouse.
Yeah.
But yeah, Renee is still in her outfit from the show. Obviously, Darby just wrestled.
Yes.
So I don't know.
I don't know. There's some interesting choices.
Kind of weird interjection of scenery here.
Yeah. So Darby's just like, Darby and Renee are just talking, and, she's asking, like, where do you go from here? And they're talking about Dynamite next week. Darby comes back and says, this coming week, yes. So Darby says, I'm back where I started it all. And that's a reference to the Dynamite episode is going to be in Everett, Washington. And he basically says that he is watching MJF and Kenny Omega. And whoever wins, well, it's showtime.
Maybe his mom calls him Kennedy.
Basically, whoever wins the match between Kenny and MJF will go up against Darby then at Dynamite for that title, which I find really interesting that he's going for a title shot. That's a
well, he has said already he's going to keep his foot on the throttle till he sees God or the AW World
Yeah.
Championship. And this was very alluded during the Andrade match and Darby match that the both men need to win this match to sort of
Get the title
stake
shot.
their claim and head forward
Yeah.
in their ranking.
Yeah.
So it looks like this was enough to get Darby a title shot, which would be announced later. He would get a title shot, and who he will face, we will find out pretty soon in our coverage here. If you folks have watched, I feel like most of you folks have watched, so I don't think any of these are really spoilers for anyone. But from here, we would get this conglomeration skip for the entrance, and I fucking hated it.
I didn't like it either. So it starts off with Orange and Roddy.
Orange is like let's set the scene here.
Okay.
Yeah. We have a couch. We have a doorway set up. And this is on the stage, folks, in the entryway.
Yes.
So on the stage, we have a couch. We have a coffee table with, which your kids astutely pointed out, had a bowl full of oranges.
Oh, I totally missed that.
Yes. We had a little sign on the wall in the back, a picture, quote unquote, that's a conglomeration. And we would have Orange laying on the couch and then
covered in a blanket.
Yeah.
Like completely his whole body was covered with the blanket. I think his 1 foot was out.
We would have Roddy come through the door. Oh, and sorry, folks, I'm yawning here. My apologies.
He comes through the door and says, is looking for Orange. And he does that thing like he did with Adam. He's like, did he say Orange or Cassidy?
I don't know.
I don't remember which one. He's like, Cassidy!
I would say, I don't want to sign up for this, but...
and then Cassidy pops out of the blanket and reveals himself. I don't even know what they said, to be honest with you.
Well, he's telling Cassidy he's got to get up. They have somebody come in, they have their new opponent. And Cassidy jokingly says, I think something like, Mom, I'm not ready for school. Or something like that.
Something like that.
The classic line here. And then we get the...
door opening.
On the door.
Oh, the knock first, my bad.
And we get our, who is going to be the partner.
The third, our third competitor for this trios match, which ended up being...
Not third, but sixth, maybe.
Oh, well, yeah.
The third
on this
conglomeration group. And it would be none other than conglomeration member Kyle O'Reilly.
Yep.
Making his return to the ring from injury. He looked great. I hated the segment. He walks through the door. He makes, I don't even remember what he says, but he makes some funky face.
Yeah, it was weird. It was super
cheesy.
weird.
It was very Full House. Was it Fuller House? It was.
I don't even.
It was
know.
whatever the worst part of it
was. It was like Full House meets
Saved by the Bell.
Saved by the Bell. Yeah, the background definitely is Saved by the Bell meets what is it? Oh, Friends. That's the other one. I don't know. Show. It was definitely weird.
I think Friends is the worst show too. One of the worst shows to have ever existed.
I like Friends, but that's okay.
Yeah, I guess it's the one joke show, but and this is gonna be for the trios title. We're gonna get the Dogs, Dave Finlay, Gabe Kidd, Clark Connors,
who just recently won the trios titles.
I mean, as they would call it, they were they had won the titles 24 hours ago, but if you know this, that collision was actually filmed on Wednesday, so they've been champion for a few days now.
Yes. I thought it was really funny I'm so sorry, guys. As Finlay comes out, he starts actually breaking the conglomeration's little set there.
Oh, yeah, he's got his shillelagh and starts beating the door down.
We get Kidd.
Everything.
Yeah, we get Kidd walking over to the couch and pretending to pee on it.
Yeah, mimicking
And then we get Connors taking his belt onto the couch and humping it, which my 12-year-old was super disturbed by that.
Classy stuff. Classy stuff.
Oh my gosh, that was crazy.
Yeah.
We got Finn and Kidd. Then they go down into the ring. We got Finn and Kidd starting out. So much chaos. Oh my gosh. I'm going to be honest with you guys. These kinds of matches are really hard for me to follow and be able to really comment on because there's just so much going on.
Yeah, the note taking in this was very thin, folks.
Yes. I really don't have. That's pretty much all I have for notes.
It was great hard work. There was a fun spot where Roddy is just sort of tossing Orange around like a weapon. And I think it was Gabe. No, it was Kyle and Gabe Kidd would end up battling each other on the outside. And then Gabe Kidd would end up being escorted to the back, and he would not be part of the rest of the match. And we will learn that he actually injured his shoulder here.
Yeah.
And so his status right now is very
Unknown.
yeah. It's unsure exactly how he injured himself, what the extent of his injury is, but he is essentially out indefinitely. He would be out for the rest of his match.
Which is
For
crazy
sure.
because he literally was just injured last
Yes.
summer. He wasn't able to participate in the G1
Yep.
Climax
He
because
had
of it.
he had to cut his G1 Climax appearance short. And would end up showing up right at the end of the tournament, not as part of the tournament,
Right.
but he had recovered enough to re-enter the ring in it. And I do believe that was actually a shoulder injury then too.
Was
so
it?
it seems like maybe he did not spend enough time recovering. He's maybe
Maybe.
re-aggravated this
Well, and
injury.
especially just the kind of style of wrestling he does. It's very Darby Allin-esque. I mean, that last
I don't
match that
think
he
there's
did with
anything
Darby.
that's Darby Allin-esque.
That's true.
But
he is
yeah,
pretty,
he's very rough.
He is, and I mean,
fights a hard,
I wouldn't be
very
surprised
strong
if
style.
he didn't injure himself after that car spot that him and Darby did.
Yeah, that was a wild
Yeah.
whole thing in that coffin match.
Yes.
And but a lot of battling back and forth, a fun little match, and in the end, it is Kyle O'Reilly getting the ankle lock and the win. And that's right, folks. We have
Brand new
new
Trios
AEW
champions.
Trios
I know,
champions.
which is crazy because the dogs had it for so little time.
Yeah.
That was very surprising. I did not think that was going to happen. I really thought that the dogs would keep
Well,
it.
especially considering the promising team they dethroned
Yeah.
in Jet Speed and Mystico.
Yes,
I thought they were going to hold it for at least, till the summer.
I agree.
But alas, it did not happen. And now we are here. Do
Our
your best Mark
main
Henry
event.
impression. There we go.
Oh, did
It's
I do it
time-
right?
No, it is time.
It's time for the main event.
So, for the AEW World Championship, MJF defending his title against the Alpha Omega, Kenny Omega. So I'm the Alpha.
Yeah. No, the
Kenny
Alpha's
Omega.
Kenosuke.
Yeah, I know.
So, and specifically with this match, we have Kenny Omega, the God of Pro Wrestling, versus MJF, the Devil. I know, I don't like that name either. So the Devil, MJF is bringing back his devil gimmick.
Devilish.
Devilish.
Style.
Yeah. Yes.
So we have Kenny coming out first, and he had a nice entrance. I mean, it was, he had some pyro and stuff, but it was MJF that really stole the show here. Coming out with a throne rising up from the stage.
Yes. Only like MJF.
And he wasn't
can
even
do.
just sitting in it like, all poised. He's
No.
sitting it super cocky with like one leg
over an
hanging
arm.
over the arm of the chair. Oh my God. It was
And he's
great.
got this devil. He's got this like almost. To me, it kind of looked like a crown of thorns.
Oh, I wouldn't say it was kind of thorn. It was more like deer horns
Okay.
attached to a crown.
Yeah.
Very Game of Thrones.
Yes. That's a good way to.
Yeah, it's very Game of Thrones. He also had a giant vest piece with a big like back head rest ornament. I don't know. Very reminiscent of what Undertaker wore during a bit of his time in the late 90s. He wore it during WrestleMania 14. He came in at that like sort of diamond shape-esque back headpiece.
Okay.
But he also had some like sort of bulging pieces on his shoulders.
And then of course when he comes in,
And it was like dark too. It was very dark. He didn't start out with his normal music.
No.
And I really wish they would have kept the lighting down for the entire entrance, because as he's making his way through the ring in this garb, it didn't quite fit with the lights
bright
being
lights.
all the way up.
Yeah.
So
and it was like, they at one point too, they also used like a red light, which made it look even.
yeah,
more ominous.
before he ended up doing the walk to the ring. And I think they should have kept a bit of those elements. At least just kept the lights at least dimmed some.
Yeah.
It looked it didn't quite work.
But when he gets into the I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go.
I was just gonna say when he gets into
Cut
the
me
ring,
off, please.
He does his just his typical MJF where he like points up with each hand and then drops down to his knees. And then, of course, you get the whole banner in the background.
Yeah.
The
Once he shedded that sort of
Burberry.
devil attire,
yes,
he was left there and he did his normal routine.
yeah. So he gets that huge
Burberry.
Burberry.
It's definitely not a berry. Banner,
Fabric
yes.
in the back with the MJF logo that then drops down. So. Yeah, so I all in all, I really liked his entrance. I thought it was great.
They did that fun with the announcer standing in the middle of the ring as both competitors stand on the opposite sides of the ring, sort of introduction.
Yep.
And then we hear the bell, and we are off, folks.
Yes, and
Kenny Omega Maxwell, Jacob Friedman, and I'm sorry, what?
Well, I was going to say, I think before everything actually started, we actually have Bryce Rensburg, who is the referee for this match.
Oh, yes.
He actually comes over to MJF and tells him to take his dynamite ring out of his penis pocket.
Yeah. Yeah, I believe that's what your 12-year-old
That's what my 12-year-old called it, yeah.
I would say it's his loot sack next to his nut sack.
Yeah, which is funny. Like, my 12-year-old was so proud that he came up with that term. So we start off really quickly.
So, yeah, and Bryce would get a hold of the dynamite ring, sort of neutralizing that for the spout.
Yes. Because we all know how MJF rolls, and he's going to try to use that to cheat. So I like that Bryce.
I even know how he rocks, and not just how he rolls.
That's true. So we start quickly with some roll-ups.
We start with a bunch of feeling out first. Honestly,
sorry.
We get a lot of circling in the ring. Kenny and both men definitely taking their time, not just diving right into it. But sure enough, we get like you said, a bunch of roll-ups real quick, and as fast as you can believe it, Kenny Omega's got MJF for the one-winged angel.
Yeah.
One-winged angel. And luckily for MJF, that does not end up happening. He's able to get out of it.
Yep. He actually reverses it for a roll-up to do a 2 count.
Yep.
So that was interesting that we started off like right away with that.
Yeah, and not only just that, but MJF would fight, ending up getting Kenny Omega on the outside. Kenny Omega would try to get back in the ring, but get caught in the heat seeker and almost gets nailed with it, but is also able to break away from that as well. So both men going really quickly, trying to end this finisher. They would end up outside here for a while.
MJF actually goes into the crowd and is walking around in the crowd, I guess giving himself a little bit of
respite.
And then announces and like points to his wrist saying, we're on my time.
Yep.
You know, just as cocky as ever.
Yep, taking his pace, being a smart champion here, honestly. They would end up fighting outside. At one point, Kenny Omega would set up a chair here, fully chair at ringside, sit MJF on it, and then charge at MJF, but MJF is able to slip out of the way and hit pretty much like a drop toe hold on Kenny Omega into the chair at ringside.
And I think at this point they go back into the ring, where Kenny actually tries for a handshake with MJF, and MJF ends up pie facing him.
Yeah. And
just totally
I
disrespectful.
think that might actually been before this outside. We were definitely on point tonight, folks.
Yes.
So we were definitely getting tired at this point. So we're talking about
this is like 12:15 at night.
Was this 12? This is about
after,
like quarter of 12 here during
maybe.
This point in the match.
Yeah.
Because AEW.
Well, and it's also we're both trying to take notes at the same time, so we're trying to like match everything.
Yeah, we're trying to do the best we can, but we're failing. Yeah.
So we're doing all right.
So Omega would end up getting a hold of a ringside table. Well, actually, he would. What does he do? He throws MJF onto the table. The table does not break.
No.
So
I am the table.
He would yank the table from the timekeeper's area, would drag it over, pull. It had like a tablecloth on it. He would actually pull the tablecloth off. He would end up throwing the table on top of it, just sort of laying it on top of MJF at ringside. He would head up to the apron, double stomp the table into MJF at ringside. Then he would pull it up and
which doesn't break, right?
No, not at this point. It starts to crack.
Okay.
The foundation is getting loose. So he would end up setting up the table at ringside, putting MJF on top of the table. He would end up to the top rope looking like he's probably going to do a double stomp, but MJF is not going to let this happen. He rolls back into the ring, hops up pretty quick, and I mean, he seems very unbalanced, very phased by everything that's happening, and sort of tumbles into the top rope, causing Kenny Omega to crotch himself.
Oops.
Yeah, and we would get some back and forth here. I'm sorry.
A lot of rope action.
MJF would pretty much take over from here.
Yeah.
He would start to really work Kenny, but being sure to take time to play to the crowd here. Kenny Omega is not taking this line down. He would battle back. He would go for a pile driver on MJF, but cannot get it. MJF is able to reverse this into a huge Alabama slam on Kenny Omega. Got his head like whiplash straight off that mat. It looked vicious.
Yeah, it did. So we got lots of back and forth. We get them up actually onto like the top turnbuckles. We get
Well, I think before
MJF.
this, actually, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Kenny would end up getting MJF back on, and MJF sort of bail out here at one point. Kenny would hit a big tope over the top rope. And then we would end up back into the ring. Kenny, like you said, taking MJF to the top.
Yes. And then we have MJF actually getting up and pelvic thrusting Kenny in the face.
Yep.
Which he likes to do. Honestly, I thought the pace of this match so far was really good. There was it was just really good.
It wasn't over fast paced. There wasn't too much nonsense.
No.
But it was very engaging. It wasn't slow.
I agree. So we get Kenny coming and doing a moonsault and then trying to pin MJF for a 2 count. Obviously, he's not getting it.
Well, at one point here before that, Kenny would actually try to get the one-wing angel, avalanche one-wing angel onto MJF.
Oh, yes.
That does not work out. MJF is able to try for a tombstone from the middle rope. That would not work out. They would end up squaring off back in the middle of the ring with Kenny Omega hitting a Snapdragon.
Okay.
And then, I'm sorry, what was I saying? And then Kenny hits a Poison Rana, reverse Hurricane Rana. This isn't enough to put MJF down or away. MJF would fight back, end up trying to hit the Heat Seeker, but he can't quite get that. Instead, with Ken on the apron, he is sort of able to grab the top rope and sling Kenny in and catches him with a cutter as he flies back in. And there would be a bunch of downtime here. These two men really battling a lot here. It's really hard-hitting match.
And at one point, we actually were having a little bit of an issue with our feed cut out. So there was a little bit of it that we weren't able to actually see. But when we came back, it was actually Kenny Omega doing a super one-winged angel to MJF.
Yeah, that avalanche one-wing angel.
Yes, and he couldn't capitalize
beautiful
on it.
Yeah, well, it was beautiful. He hit it beautifully. I have to really give credit to everybody involved in this spot here, because you really have to rotate the guy for it, especially when you're coming off the middle rope like that. And not murder MJF. And MJF pretty much hit it almost completely flat back. Just looked great. But this is enough to completely take the wind out of Kenny. He is not able to capitalize. He is not able to get the pin here. And MJF is actually able to slide to the outside here. They would battle a bit more. We get some back and forth. And eventually there would be like a crossroad tease. And then eventually MJF would hit the crossroads. And then a package pile driver. The 1, 2, no. You get Kenny kicking out here.
And I will say, that package pile driver looked crazy scary.
Yeah. And then I think it was Kenny heading to the ropes going for that V-trigger. Sort of flying knee, V-trigger, whatever you want to call it, folks. He wasn't like holding both arms. I don't know.
No. But actually, and while this is happening, we have more, they were spitting in each other's face, which is disgusting.
Oh, I love it.
But we got Omega, so Omega starts trying
we get
to
some the kiss sign here early on in this match. I don't think we mentioned that.
I did not.
That's super important, but it was entertaining.
It's funny. So we have Omega coming and you mentioned starting the first V-trigger, and then he actually does the first V-trigger and then turns around and does another V-trigger. So we got 2 of them right in a row.
At one point he would go for this flying knee, but MJF would yank Paul Turner in front of him. So Paul Turner would eat the V-trigger. He would end up on the mat, I guess, dead.
You mean
he's
Bryce?
I'm sorry.
Bryce
what did I say?
You said Paul Turner. That's okay. It was Bryce.
No, it was Bryce.
Yeah, because Omega moved out of the way. So, he took Bryce out.
And so, at this point, MJF smartly tries to retrieve.
Well, after he does a low blow to Kenny.
Oh, that's right.
He does a low blow to Kenny so that Kenny's kind of like knocked out for a minute.
Doing
so
a great job on my notes.
He literally crawled on his hands and knees over to Bryce to get his ring and like dug around in his pocket.
He searched around those boxes forever. He could not find it. He was having a lot of struggle there.
He got it, but then we have Kenny.
Did get it.
Kenny actually gets up and does a one-winged angel on.
Yeah, he's not
MJF.
able to connect with the ring.
No.
He ends up getting hit with the one-winged angel. Kenny would go for a pin of like forever.
It was like an 11 count, but the problem was there's no ref because Bryce is still knocked out at this point. So we get an 11 count, no ref, but then we have Paul Turner coming out and starts the count.
Situation worse.
Yes, and starts to do the count, but only gets the 2 count.
Yep.
And at this point, we're getting a table chant from the crowd because they want to see somebody go through
that table is still set up at ringside, folks, from earlier on when Omega tried to do the stomp to MJF and was not able to complete it.
So we get MJF. He has his ring. He actually uses the ring against Omega and then does a pile driver into that table.
Well, he does a tombstone off the apron into the table, completely destroys the table.
Is that a different name?
Well, it is a pile driver.
Oh, okay.
It's just a style of pile driver.
Okay.
He hits the tombstone from the apron through the table.
Yep.
And then immediately drags Kenny back into the ring. Heat Seeker.
Yep.
1, 2, 3.
Heat Seeker for the win.
MJF
Defending
retaining the AEW World Championship here. A fun bout.
It was.
It wasn't my favorite tonight, honestly.
I thought it was going to be better. Honestly, I really did. I was actually.
I thought it was a great bout.
It was good. It just wasn't my favorite.
Well, this is a night full of great matches.
Yes. So I do want to say though, after everything was done with this bout, we actually have MJF grabbing his belt, going back up to sit in his throne.
Yes.
He sits down and he takes his crown and puts it back on and just looks like the cocky motherfucker that he is.
And Omega looks so distraught on the mat. Just laying there. He's like arguing with the ref. Mm-hmm. Just seems completely despondent.
Well, and he also just looks very winded. I'm not going to lie. Through a lot of that match, he looks very winded.
Yeah.
So.
And I mean, honestly, I think my favorite match on this card would probably be the Ospreay Moxley match. I think it was so well set. The storytelling was just absolutely on point.
I agree.
It was a great match. The Darby Andrade match was
that was
very
a good
well
one too.
done as well. This was really such a great pay-per-view. I really liked to see what we saw here.
Yes.
Which there was nothing completely insane. It was subdued. It was very mat-based. It was very clinically based. It was very wrestling heavy. It was very storytelling heavy.
And it was paced very well too. We didn't have like all just high flying crazy stuff going on, but it wasn't all like slow stuff either. Yep. I thought this was a much better flow than Revolution
I think putting that trios title match in between the Ospreay and MJF match very well benefited.
Yes. And I do have to say, I actually want to say one of my favorite, this is probably not going to be a very popular opinion, but one of my favorite, I would say probably my second favorite bout of the card was actually the Divine Dominion and High-In and Maya.
That was a fun bout.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. So
I love seeing the younger talents get a chance to really expose themselves to these bigger audiences.
Yes. And going up against the bigger names also, just getting that experience.
I just figured I'd bring this up real quick because you talked about this when we were watching that match. Is where's the inspiration?
That is very true. I don't know. Where is the inspiration? Yeah. Why haven't we seen them?
So here we have Tony Khan, AEW fan here, saying she wants to see more of the inspiration. I'm ready for it. Yeah.
Me too. So
maybe see more fresh faces in this women's division. Yeah. So happy to see the women's division. It took long fucking enough for Tony Khan to get off his ass and make this happen.
Yes.
So I'm super excited.
I am too.
And what a great Dynasty card. MJF ending up atop his throne, closing out the night as still your AEW World Champion. Fun stuff. We had two new champions crowned.
Yes. Yep.
In the vacant TNT title going to Jet Kevin Knight, and of course, oh my God, what was our other title change? The trios title.
Yeah, the trios title.
Yes, the trios title going to the worst named faction in wrestling, the Conglomeration.
Yes.
And such a fun card.
Yep.
I really enjoyed it. I hope you all folks enjoyed that show. And
Yes.
we have already a ton of action set for this Wednesday in Dynamite, which is where you'll see us again this Wednesday night. You might not catch it till Thursday morning, depending on how late the show goes and how fast we're able to actually get our goddamn jobs done.
Well, we usually get it done. Wednesday is usually not the issue. It's usually the Saturday shows that take so much time. But so this upcoming card, so far we have a couple matches. We've got MJF versus Darby Allin for the AEW World Championship. We have Willow Nightingale going against Camille for the TBS Championship. And then we have Kevin Knight going against Claudio Castagnoli for the TNT title. So that's really interesting that we're coming off this huge pay-per-view, and now we have 3 different title matches that we're going to have at Dynamite on Wednesday, which is going to be live from Everett, Washington.
Yep.
So it's going to be at the Angels of the Wind Arena. So AEW is also going to be taping Thursday's Collision. So Thursday is a special Collision, which I have a feeling is because of WrestleMania.
This is going to be spring breakthrough.
Yes.
So Dynamite and Collision this week.
And I think Collision's on Thursday this week because of WrestleMania being Saturday,
It probably
which makes sense.
That would be smart. It would be a smart move. What do you think of this? MJF defending his title against Darby Allin.
I think that's going to be interesting. Quite frankly, I don't think Darby's going to get it.
I think there's a fat chance, that he's not making it.
Yeah, I don't know. I just, to me personally, and I don't mean this in any way, shape, or form to be mean against Darby Allin, but I just don't see him really as a main eventer to have the world championship. I think that's me personally. I just feel that I don't know. I don't see him as a world champion.
He doesn't scream main eventer to you?
Maybe not. Maybe that was the wrong term. Maybe not main eventer, but yes, main eventer. He's good, but I don't see him as the world champion.
Well, that is a main eventer spot, isn't it?
I guess.
I mean, I feel like they're sort of synonymous. If you don't see him possibly ever winning the world title, how is he going to sit in the main event?
Yeah, that's true.
But that is going to come to the end of our show here, folks. Thank you all so much for listening. We love the support. You can always catch us at youtube.com/WrestleCord. You can always check us out on RSS.com, feed of WrestleCord. Mm-hmm. You can check us out on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or WrestleCord, or
any
anywhere.
Any of your major sites where you get your podcasts from.
Yep. Distribution, element, people, internet.
Yes.
And we love all your comments and feedback. You can always catch us at WrestleCord26@gmail.com. And thank you so much. This is Brian along with Cordial here signing off. Have a great night, folks.